afternoon, everybody. Nice to see people here today again. We've got lots of competition outside in Bay City today with the art fair, and I'm not sure what else, but I'm glad you're all here. I am Judy Jeffers. I think most of you but know that. Is anybody here who has never been here before? I don't see any newcomers. Okay, that's good.
I recognize these two guys. But I've been here before because I was here when it was the armory.
The presenters are new. Today we are featuring the Boys and Girls Club down on the, well, it is on the river. And we have three of their people here today. The only one whose name I know is Ginger Drzewicki. This is Ginger, and Ginger will be introducing the other two people. If you have a cell phone with you, please remember to turn it off. I will tell you next month we're going to have Jan Rao, who is she's been the head person, the leader of the River of Time, and she will be here to talk about the history of the River of Time. And then of course the River of Time is coming up in September. The River of Time may be well known in 2018, but in 1991 it was a gamble. In 1990, a group of reenactors met at the Bay Democrat Press, that was across the street, and brainstormed on bringing living history to Bay City. Take a walk down memory lane with event chairperson Jan Rao as she shares the development and growth of this popular event that draws reenactors from all over the country to dress, work, and live as people did in several areas in Michigan past. So we hope you will come to that, and we hope that you will come to our next program, next presentation, and enjoy today's presentation. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Thank you so very much for giving us this opportunity to share the history of Boys Club when it opened its doors in 1957 to where we are today. My name is Ginger Drzewicki. I started as a volunteer for 5 years, and then I've been on staff for 18 years. It is my honor today to introduce these two young gentlemen who were Boys Club members. Ray Garcia, he is currently a unit director at our Saginaw facility, and Ray will talk about when he participated as a Boys Club member in the Quonset huts, being in this facility, and then Jerry Gomez, everybody refers to him as Mr. Bear because he's so small, and he is also a unit director at the Bay City facility, which is on Lafayette. So I will turn it over to the experts on the Boys Club history.
Okay. I'll need that though. I'll be there. Yeah, I grew up in at Am Street for the Boys and Girls Club. 1959 was my first year. And when we got there, well, first of all, I used to play basketball here many years ago when it used to be the National Army Guard here. But back to the club, we used to walk down the steps, and there was a big bar type table like we had to go sign in. And back then was Tom Berg was my staff, and Lenny Barrera was staff there. And we had a big old wooden wall would divide the gym. And we had the wooden backboards and iron rims. Then you go back in the corner of the club there, we had arts and crafts, wood shop, and weight room, all in one spot. What big is that back room right there? We had the small place divided up. And then we had my fun part was there, we had a trampoline. And that's what most of the guys did there, use a trampoline. We had a team room, we played pool and games. Then you had another room, I think it was on top of the loft, I can remember. Had teens go up to 2 and relax, just the teens. Downstairs was the game room. And we had snacks there, and like I said, most of our kids that we did most of the time there enjoyed was our trampoline. We know how to do it flips, and we did this, and we did that. We had a belt put up there, so put it on your waist there, that way you don't get yourself hurt. But overall, I was there for a long time, a lot of years there, a lot of memories there. Back in '59, and I don't remember what year it got torn down. But then decided to move over to the Quonset huts. So he takes
So
over.
there's where I'm gonna take over, and I have some notes that I'm going to right here, so if you excuse me. So, and by the way, Mr. Ray actually was in the military for a short time, and I know the club shaped him to the person who he is now, because he's been with the club. We're like the last of the Mohicans, because we actually been to all the clubs, and we're working now at the club, so it's come full circle for both of us, which is really, really great. So anyways, my name is Jerry Bear Gomez, and I'm going to speak about my nickname because I got that nickname at the boys club. So one day we were out in the field playing baseball, and the field at the time actually sat right where the current club is right now in Lafayette. That used to be an empty field, so we were all playing baseball. And the CEO at the time was Tom Burton. He happened to be out there watching us play baseball. So I got up to the plate, hit the ball way, way out in right field, and I started running to first base, and he said, "Look, he runs just like a bear." I was 8 years old when he said that. So now, everybody knows me as Bear. Staff, former staff, current staff, it caught on with kids, family, classmates, nieces and nephews. They know me as Uncle Bear. And a lot of the kids, even currently, don't know me as Jerry Gomez. They only know me as Mr. Bear. So now, the cat's out of the bag. Because now they're going to say, now we know your first name. So, but anyways, the club meant a lot to me because I was there, like I said, with Ray. We were there for a long time. And if you don't know what a Quonset hut is, I know most of you may know what it is, but it's made of corrugated, it's metal, and it's shaped like oval. And where it was at, in middle grounds, it was like a one long tube, and then they had another tube here, another tube here, a tube, tube, tube. So I can remember this vividly. So when you walked into the boys club at the Quonset huts, you would walk in, and to the right, there was office there. You'd sign in, like a front counter, you'd sign in. And then when you went to the right, there were offices, and I believe there was a conference room where I believe our board members met. But we also played like Risk and board games, because remember back then there was none of this, and there was none of this, so you actually had to talk and meet friends, not like this, as we currently do. So to the left, if you were to go there were games rooms. There were several rooms where you play games, ping pong, pool. And then there was a room there you could eat your snacks that you bought at the front counter. So as you walked straight through the club, it was like a big plus at the Quonset hut. So when you walked in, you walked straight through, and to the right there was an upstairs area where you could play games, and they would have the youth group meetings there and also in the conference room. But if you kept on going straight, there's, in the middle of the club, there's a big gym there. I won't call it big, but there was a gym there. And the one thing I would always remember about that gym is trampolines. Because on one side of the gym, they had like a loft, and it was covered in a graded steel. And there was a ledge there, so when the trampolines happened to be out at times, they had these big nets filled with foam. I don't know, I think there was styrofoam, not styrofoam. Foam rubber. It was foam rubber. Anyway, so they were big. So some of us would sneak up to the loft. In the loft had exercise equipment and punching bags and whatnot. And we would jump off the top and then on the trampoline, then on to the foam. And it was a lot of fun. But then they seen the little opening and they hurry up and fix that. So we wouldn't do that anymore. Great memories. And then I remember playing a game called Slaughter Ball, which is with the red dodge balls, they were red rubber balls, and they would leave marks sometimes. Now they use these gator skin balls, so it's a little more safer. But they would call it Slaughter Ball, but now we call it Dodge Ball. So a lot of great memories. So we keep on going straight through past the gym, and then there was an arts and crafts room there. And there was a gentleman by the name of Pete White, and he was almost like a hippie. He had long hair, had a long beard, but he knew how to play the guitar very, very well. So he would be playing like the, the days of greatest hits, like the Doobie Brothers on his guitar, and we're always just enthralled, like, hey, there's a rock star here at the club. So that was a lot of fun seeing him there and doing his thing, and he was a Delta College student at the time, so I think he was either interning there or he was working there. I don't know exactly, because I was young. And also they had ceramics there. They had a little blaster there, and they actually had things that you could paint, and one of them was the old club logo. I must have painted a million of those, but they also had like animals you could paint and stuff like that, so very fun there too. I probably experienced all the areas because it was so much fun. So I was a member between 66 and 67, and you remember during those times, like from 60, the 60s on, we were in a lot of turmoil at the time because you had the riots in 67 in Detroit and around the country. You had the assassination of Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy. You had the Vietnam War going on, and you also had the protests at the Democratic Convention in 68. But one thing I can tell you, and Ray will tell you the same thing, when you came to the Boys Club, it was a big diversity. There was black, there was white, there was Hispanic, and there was no mention of color. You came there and you had fun. And I get very emotional when I speak about this because that actually took some of us away from all that was happening in the world at that time. Because we were going to the club to have fun, to play tournaments, meet new friends. You know, I still have a good friend I talk to, and I met him at the club. You know, I went to St. Hyacinth's and All Saints. He went to McGregor and Central, and we're good friends to this day. And at one time he was dating my sister, then the friendship got a little shaky at one point. But he's still a good friend. I just seen him last week, and we still talk. So I've made a lot of connections with people that are now adults that were club members. Matter of fact, I was at Bush Elementary on Thursday, and I was helping with their field day. And the person came up to me and said, "Hey, aren't you Bear?" And I said, "Yeah." And I'll get this at times, and Ray gets it at times too. "You remember who I am?" And I goes, "Well, you're a lot younger then, but no, I forgot your name." He goes, "My name is Mike." I goes, "Oh my gosh, Mike, I remember. You used to be on my hockey team, my floor team at the club." So a lot of great memories we've had. And I've been very proud to be a member of the Boys Club. And now working for the Boys and Girls Club, it has come full circle. The one thing I can tell you is that I came from a huge family, so we didn't always get the chance to go on special events and stuff like that. But thanks to the Boys Club and Boys and Girls Club, I got to go to my first Tiger game. I got to go to my first Pistons game. And at that time, when we were playing floor hockey, I knew what hockey was, but I didn't know it was a professional sport. So they asked if I would go to a Saginaw Gears game. And Saginaw Gears was a semi-pro team that was out of the Civic Center at the time. And I said, I don't know if I really want to go, because I'm more into like boxing and football and baseball. And they said, well, come on, you got to come along, something different, something new, you'll like it. Because, you know, at the at hockey games, sometimes the hockey players get in fisticuffs. I said, okay, let's go look, try it. So after there was some altercations with the hockey players, as we all know, hockey players can be. After that, too, we had two of our members catch pucks. After that, I was enthralled with hockey. I loved hockey. Now they started following the Red Wings and who they were. But thanks to the club, they got me to go to that hockey game. So now I love hockey. Boxing, too. Boxing, we had a boxing team and a boxing club. I was involved in that. And it taught me a lot. It taught me about being respectful, and when, if you're going to learn this new skill of boxing, when to use it and when not to use it, and being respectful to others. And it actually came in hand one time at school. And I had some bully come up to me. A couple of them were bothering me, and one of them decided to push me and punch me. And I said, okay, I remember what my coach said to me, so it just went one punching down. And I felt absolutely horrible about it, but I was defending myself like my coach said. And up until about 2 years ago, I have not seen that kid that I did that to in high school, because he did not know I was on a boxing team at the time. And I actually apologized to him. He said, no, I deserved it. I was a jerk, and I deserved it. And so I said, well, I didn't tell you this, but I used to box. He said, oh, okay. But it's something I learned at the club that I would never have thought of doing, because I'm a big guy in general. I mean, but being involved in boxing taught me a lot, and it came into hand. So, also at the boys' club at the time, we actually went to what was called day camp. And day camp was, if you came to the club in the summertime, you could either stay at the club, or you could get on the big old green school bus that was green. That I don't know how they bought it, if it was donated, painted green, and we'd go to the state park. And so the staff would set up stations, and there would be arts and crafts and board games and all sorts of stuff. And at the end, we would all go swimming. You could go swimming at the state park at the time because it was nice and clean. We would go swimming. That was the highlight of the trip. So just awesome, awesome memories. Currently, right now, I didn't know this till about a year or so ago. Right now, they started up a group of former club alumni, boys club alumni, and I just joined the group recently, and I think Ray's going to be part of that. And they're actually having an outing on June 24th at Bigelow Park, right behind the club, and just having a big cookout to get former members, to come back and tell stories and have a cookout and have fun. But I thought that was just great that they're doing this. So the one thing I do want to show you is I brought it, and actually what it was one of our former banners that was at the club, like the boys' club in general. And I had a friend that was having a rummage sale, and it was sitting posted up against his back of his garage. And I said, anytime you want to get rid of this, I want you to see if I can get it from you. And he got rid of it, and I have it now. But this hung at both clubs. So that's part of our history right here. So I'm very proud to say I was a boys club member. It taught me a lot. Taught me a lot, staying out of trouble.
That's when it was just boys only.
Yeah, boys only, boys club.
The old Sydney, that's what we had.
So
Just boys only.
one last thing I'll talk about is that at times United Way have us go to do presentations at businesses who may want to donate money from their check. And one of the last ones I did, I said, the club taught me a lot about character and leadership and the importance of volunteering. And I said, if it wasn't for the club, I could have been at your house, and your house robbing you. True, because they instilled really good values into all of us who went there. And if it wasn't for them, heaven knows where I would be, and a lot of kids in the community would be without that positive, impactful reinforcement that all the staff did when I was a member, that Ray, I, and Ginger, we passed on to the kids now, because even now it's more trying time, because now you have social media where kids bully each other on their cell phones, and now it's about guns. Back in the 60s, it wasn't about that. Now it is. So now we have our hands full, and we're trying to do our best now to keep our kids in line. So, but thank you very much for having us.
I will continue on how we have grown. Yes. Question?
Yes, when did it become the girls' club?
I will get into that in just a few moments. Okay. Before I start on the history and how we have grown, Denzel Washington, I want to tell you a brief story about him. He is our national spokesperson. We have over 4,300 Boys and Girls Clubs across the country. We are now on military lands and in the armed services. Denzel grew up in a Boys and Girls Club, and he was getting involved in a gang. Billy Thomas recognized this young man causing trouble. At that time, you could physically grab somebody by the arm and throw them inside of a facility and say, hey, this is where you need to be. We will help you. We will guide you. Denzel Washington, to this day, contributes his career and him being alive today to Boys and Girls Club. So thank you to all of the mentors when it started as a boys club. In the 1970s, they spoke about the boys club when it was in the, on Adams Street, and then the Quonset huts. In the 70s, the facility where the Quonset huts were is when we built the building that we're in. It's currently about 30,000 square feet, but we have built on since then. And that is our oldest facility. 1991 is when they started allowing us girls into common membership. Boys and Girls Clubs of America changed their name to Boys and Girls Clubs of America. So all the other Boys and Girls Clubs changed their names as well. We became Boys and Girls Clubs of Bay County. We had one facility in the 1970s. We grew, expanded, because we knew there's more kids out there that needed us. We needed to share our mission, which is to enable and inspire all young people, especially those who need us most. We reached out to our northern connection in Pinconning and built a facility in Pinconning at 201 North Street. We have over 100 kids attend daily from the Pinconning School District. The community in Pinconning, there's nothing there for our kids. The Boys and Girls Club is the only facility that our kids have an opportunity to go to. Also, in 2001, we expanded into Essexville within the Essexville School District. Today, we operate out of Varellin Elementary, and that is our home in the Essexville community. Ray and Bear have both worked at the Essexville community, at the Essexville Unit, and have worked with the young men and women that are coming to them today, telling them, thank you, you saved my life. I am now a college graduate. I am getting married. I did it the right way, the way you told me and taught me to do it as a club kid. So to me, it's very inspiring when, these people come in, former club members, and ask, where's Mr. Bear? Where's Mr. Ray? I just want to thank them for saving my life. They told me, go to college, meet a girlfriend, get married, then have children down the road. That's what I did. I did it the way, they showed me. So again, kudos to these two historians of the Boys Club. 2011, we expanded into Saginaw. There are more kids that we needed to reach out to. We have a dedicated board of directors. When we expanded into Saginaw, we also reached out to community members. We need to serve kids in the Saginaw community. We need your financial support. We need your time, your talent, your treasures. So we found a facility within Houghton Elementary, and Mr. Ray went over to Houghton to run that facility. The school is closed in the Saginaw. Thank you. Longfellow is when we started in 2011. After a year, that school closed. We then moved to Houghton Elementary. A year later, that school closed and we were moved to Stone Elementary. At that time, Mr. Ray is still delivering program out of the Stone School. But our board of directors realized, okay, we have children being bounced around from location to location. We have to provide stability for our children. So we embarked for about over a year looking for the right home for our children. We acquired, through the City of Saginaw, the former Junior Achievement Building that is located at 1781 Fordney Street. The City of Saginaw gave it to us for $1 on a 50-year lease. We did a capital campaign in partnership with the YMCA of Saginaw, and on June 18th, we opened our doors for more kids in the Saginaw community, and they have their permanent home. So right now, we have 5 locations. Bay City is the oldest facility. Pinconning is a traditional facility that we built. Essexville, we operate out of the Essexville Hampton School District. Stone Elementary is where we operate out of as well. And then our new facility, it's going to be called KidsCampUs when we open our doors on June 18th. At the end of 2017, we served 2,815 registered members. A registered member is an individual, a child, male, female, anybody ages 6 to 18, comes in our doors. They fill out a membership form, so we have all their contact information, emergency contact information. Those are registered members. We charge a flat fee, $25 a year. We feed them breakfast, we feed them lunch, we make sure their homework is completed before they head home for the evening, during the school time. If they're hungry, we feed them, because we know that they may not get food at home. They may not have the help or the support to get their homework done. We have families that cannot afford the $25. That's okay. We want those kids in our doors so we can help and save more lives. Our funding comes from doing special events. We write grants. Right now our budget is $1.4 million for the 5 locations. The $25 that we charge per child, it's actually $411 a year that it costs to provide services to one child every day. We have an array of programs. We go on the 5 core programs that our mission is based on, from character and education, development, leadership, the arts, sports, fitness, recreation, and health and life skills. A lot of people think of why the arts. As Mr. Bear mentioned earlier, he enjoyed doing ceramics. Arts really brings out creativity in a young child. And they don't know how artistic they are until you believe in them and you tell them, yes, you can do that. What an excellent job that you have done. Sports, fitness, recreation. Today, it's not all about jumping on a trampoline. We don't have those because of the liability. But it's about triple play activities, building their mind, body, and soul, making sure they exercise, reading 20 minutes a day, if not more, learning to build new friendships and develop new skills, get them, ready, make sure they're ready for the next day for school and they have a plan after graduation. So over the years, we have evolved tremendously. Back in the day with these 2 young men, they went, had fun. Today, everything is about data, data, data. We provide and prove to our donors that yes, your dollar is working for these kids. I want to back up to Mr. Ray when he went out in Houghton Elementary. A young man, his name is Jonathan, 9 years old, he was an alcoholic. 10 years old, he was involved into a gang. 11 years old, he knew how to hotwire cars. Ray took him under his wing, changed his life. Jonathan credits his life being saved today because of Mr. Ray. Jonathan was our 2017 Youth of the Year. Jonathan is now a mentor at the club. He is one of our employees, and he is working with the young kids in the Saginaw community, sharing his story, where he was, and how the club and Ray saved his life. This is what we do each and every day. Everybody that we serve comes from a diverse background. We don't know the issues that the kids have. We greet them at the door. Hi, how was your day? High five. Smiling at a child nowadays could be the only smile a kid would probably experience in a day. I could go on and on about, the things that we do, but I'd like to open it up. If anybody has any questions for the 3 of us. Yes?
How large is your staff for the 5 facilities, and what percent are volunteers?
At each of the 5 facilities, we have 1 full-time unit director. So Bear and Ray are unit directors, and each location, so there's 5 units, 5 unit directors. I am full-time. I do the fundraising, and we have 2 other staff that are full-time that does also fundraising, write grants, and then we have a full-time finance director. Our other staff are basically part-timers. We hire a lot of our own kids, especially for the summertime, the 17, 18-year-olds, give them the work experience. They know the club programs, they know our rules, no hats, no saggy pants, and they keep up with that. So we have close to, right now, about 60 employees. We do have volunteers through the local universities that we've partnered with. Saginaw Valley, they have a social work program as well as criminal justice. So we have the volunteers from those programs come and do their internship with us. We also have individuals within our community that will come in. They like to read. They'll read with the kids. They're very artsy. They will come up with Pinterest, great ideas, and come do art projects with the kids. Last year we had a lady from our community that came in and taught the girls how to sew. One of the things that girls don't know how to do nowadays is to thread a needle. They made purses out of pockets, out of jeans. I mean, how clever was that? We have we have friends that grew up in the club that come back and work with our kids on basketball drills. So, we have sometimes over 100, 150 volunteers a year. We do track them. We do an annual report. So we track how many volunteers that we do have with us throughout the year.
Yep, and another thing I'll add to that is we have people that just come off the street and want to volunteer. Right? The Bay City, I have two people that are in college and they actually are studying to be doctors, and they come in and volunteer. And we do a background check on them, but with all our volunteers, so we know everything's safe. And there's a staff in every single area, and the kids are not left unattended, so there's always somebody there to make sure that things are going okay.
Mm-hmm. And again, as Barrett mentioned, all our staff, all our board of directors, anybody that has direct contact with our children, we do an extensive background check on them. We always have a male and a female, open the facility, close the facility. We have a male and female in each area, so kids are not left attended. We do not throw a volunteer in a room with our kids. There's always a paid staff person there, and then the volunteer, supplements the staff person with programs. So thank you for asking.
One more question.
Sure.
Do you receive any government funding? State, federal, local, anything?
Government funding over the years has really dried up. Yeah. We do receive funding. We apply for grants through the Office of Juvenile and Federal Justice. It is a mentoring program. So we do receive, funds from that program to mentor our kids. And we work with recruiting male mentors to mentor our young men, like Jonathan, as I spoke about earlier. He is now one of those mentors. So we do, get some funding that's on a federal level, and we do try to work with our legislators to get support on a state level, and that's something that's ongoing. Yes?
How do the children get there?
Each facility is different. We all have the same mission and the same program. Essexville schools, the kids go directly right into our program area, and they also bus them. Pinconning, we use the Pinconning busing system. The school provides that transportation for us. The one in Bay City, we just acquired support and transportation from McGregor Elementary, so they bring quite a few kids over from McGregor. And then we have the Academy School that transports kids. The rest of the kids walk, carpool, ride bikes, skateboards. Saginaw, Stone is within a school, so the kids right after school go into that facility. And then the newest facility, kids will have to be, dropped off or ride bikes. But
What hours are you open during the day?
during the summertime, we're open for 8 weeks of summer program from 8 to 4:30, and we provide free breakfast, free lunch. In the school year, we're open immediately after school till 7 o'clock at night. So we're open 48 out of the 52 weeks a year, 5 days a week.
So think about $25 for the whole year, and we have a single parent that is working, and she's only making minimum wage, and she would have to pay for childcare. They come to us because we're not a daycare because we do have planned programs. Myself and my wife, we have daycare at our home, and I don't charge $25. We don't charge $25 a year. So I know the Boys and Girls Club is saving the community money, honestly, because if you bring 3 kids in and you're only paying $75 and they come to the club every day, especially now sometimes it can be 8 hours a day, we are saving that parent money, and they can use it for groceries, they can use it for buying clothes for the kids, or hopefully they're going to put some away for an emergency fund or something for college. So we are saving the community mucho dinero. So it's a good thing, and we offer a lot for $25.
Yes.
I just want to share some memories there. I was about the same time Ray was, in the late 50s and early 60s, and on Adams Street. And I recall there was a detective, at least a detective, that said he was involved with founding the Adams Street, Jim McAvoy, I think his name. And it was, I remember a couple of police officers, Casimir Mutual, and then his son, Al Stan, was also working there. I worked there for a couple of years as partly as a volunteer, and partly as a scrap wages. Whatever, they had a few bucks, they'd give me 50 cents an hour or something. And mainly I recall handing out games and just seeing that the games were returned. I remember also we did box at that Adams Street facility. I was involved with that. Never did much with it, but I was also, I remember I had a couple of pool tables, and we put there, maybe there were billiards. Anyway, so we played pool there, and we might have had a bumper pool.
Yeah, bumper too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there was a lot of activities. Also, I remember playing chess, and even back in those days, we went down to Pontiac or something for a chess tournament.
Yes.
And so that was cool back in the late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah.
And I guess I can give a kind of a testimony. I went on to college. I went through college and then went into seminary and was going to study to be a priest. And then I guess about the time the riots and all that, this guy got spooked and I went into social work instead. So I was still doing good, but on a 40-hour-a-week basis instead of 24 hours a day. And but I think I tend to, take it for granted the good things that the Boys Club did for me. But just by them having me there on a daily basis, quote, working, but they were also I was doing something positive and with my time and money. And so I think that had a real positive influence on me. And I want to thank the Boys Club for that.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
As you mentioned, the pool tables, in 1957, the pool tables that you played on, we still have them. They are tagged. Chuck Millam had donated those to us, and every year he'll give us a call and say, how's my pool tables doing? Doing great. Kids are still using them. They're worn, but they're in great shape. I mean, those are heavy duty. We just repair and put new felt on as needed, but yeah, those pool tables are original from 1957. They are housed. They are still doing good, yes. We do rely on a lot of donations, from art supplies. We're doing an art supply drive right now at various banks. Prime Brothers donates all the furniture. We have family members that move in the middle of the night. They need furniture, clothing. We reach out to our partners and say, hey, we have this family. Can you help them? We provide beds, furniture, clothing. We have given parents gas cards just to make sure that they can get their kids to school on time and to school, which is important. So there's a lot of things, not only the education that we do, we tell the kids, let's have fun today, but we always put that educational twist on it. They may play Scrabble thinking, wow, this is cool, I'm going to beat somebody playing Scrabble, building a word, but it's team building activities. They're learning how to spell, put words together. I mean, those are high-yield learning activities that these kids really need to know nowadays. There's one of the photos up here where a young man came in, he had all C's. One of our club members, Isaiah, grew up in the club. He's now working there, helping kids with his homework. One of our young men that comes in every day came in so excited. He didn't even tell his mom when she brought him to the club. he ran right up to Mr. Isaiah and said, "You helped me. I got all A's." I mean, those are things that are priceless that these young children today will remember, going forward, like these two young men.
There's not a
Real
time.
young. 18 years old.
This young man.
That, I go into a store sometimes, I'm like a celebrity, like, Mr. Bear, Mr. Bear. It's like, did I just see like an hour ago? But they know the connection because, I always tell our employees, it's always sunshine and rainbows every day for these kids because you don't know the environment they're growing up in and you don't know their situation. So smile, please. Please smile. Please make it fun. Because I say to them that, especially when I hire new people, like, you're going to make memories for these people, for these kids, and as adults, they're going to hopefully use the tools we give them to keep a positive spin on their life. So surely enough, we do get those kids that will come out of the blue and say, "Is Mr. A here, Mr. Bear? I just want to come stop and say hi," and then they'll bring their kids in. It's like, boy, I know I'm getting held down.
Yeah, we see third, fourth generations now.
Yes.
We've been there a long time.
Yes, been here for a long time. And I actually come back from the criminal justice field, and when I started studying college, and when it was time to make that choice if I wanted to work in prisons or work at the Boys and Girls Club, I decided to work at the Boys and Girls Club because you got to start when they're young to give them all this positive reinforcement. Because once you go to prison, it's going to be very hard to keep those people straight in line that are having trouble and they are in jails and prisons. So I made my choice to work at the club only, and because I was a member there, and I know all the positive things it did for me. So what Ray and I are doing now, and all the other unit directors, is we're like a little army, and we're trying to make everything positive as much as possible. Because, like I said before, these kids are up against a lot more than we were. I mean, we had social issues, of course, but now there's, like I said, there's gangs and guns and violence almost every day, and to keep them out of that is a great thing, and if we're helping, it's a positive thing. So.
In our facility, I'm sorry.
In my school, Stone, the kids there, as soon as they see me coming in down the hallway, they all straighten up. I told them, respect's the main thing I accept. You respect me, I respect you. I even got a teacher that calls me up. "Sir Ray, yeah, you come down here, what's the matter? I got a problem with the kid." Right there. Pick him up, take him to my room. We'll sit there for maybe a half hour. We'll talk. "What's your problem?" So I'm telling you guys right now, all my kids are club members. If I get a call from your teacher, you're in trouble, we'll talk about it, and I know you're wrong, we'll take a day off and think about it and come back next day. I get called all the time at the school to take care of some of these kids at my club.
But since he's in Saginaw, it's a little rougher there at times, so he has put up with a lot more.
A lot.
So.
And one of the great things too about our Bay City facility, the oldest facility, not once was that building vandalized. The kids know this is their home. We work for you. This club is your club. We're here to support you and help you. They know that if something breaks, we'll have to wait for the funding to come in or it gets donated. We have absolutely no issues with items being damaged or the facility being damaged. So we're very, very blessed.
Does this program operate in every state?
Yes. There are 17 organizations, individual organizations of Boys and Girls Clubs in the state of Michigan. There are over 4,300 Boys and Girls Clubs throughout the United States and on native lands. Yes. So the closest one to us, we are now, Boys and Girls Clubs of the Great Lakes Bay region when we expanded into Saginaw. The next one north of us is Alpena. They have one facility, and then Flint. There's a Boys and Girls Club in Flint as well. And the other ones are like in the Detroit area, in Lansing.
Yep. Also, I'll tell you another good memory. When I rode my bike or I walked to the Boys Club when it was the Quonset huts, we would stop by a friend's house, we'd pick them up, go to the next friend, pick them up, go to the next friend, pick them up. So we would walk or ride our bike over the Lafayette Bridge. So at the end of the Lafayette Bridge, there was a worn beaten path, and it ended up right at the club. It's still instilled into my memory because we went there and we all had a lot of fun. So that's what that was about. And also I can remember they had this old gun turret with a seat that was there, and we'd play like And that was just a lot of fun. Then they had to take away, because I don't know if somebody got hurt or what happened, but that was a great memory, great memory. And I think because of that being in the old naval side, I have the utmost respect for any veterans that keep us serving our country, sir. I go up to adults that have been in these wars, and I instill this in our kids too. You pay respect to people who serve. I learned that right at those Quonset huts, because that was a naval facility, let's face it. So thanks to that, I love the respect I give to our military, and I try to pass that on to the kids. Let's face it, a lot of people died in those wars. And because of that, I didn't have to go to the Vietnam War. Thank you. I didn't have to go. So the utmost respect. So one time I was in a store, there was a gentleman in a wheelchair, and he has World War II hat on. I walked up to him, shook his hand, and he was stunned that I was shaking his hand. It was just a total stranger. But just like I was telling you right now, the utmost respect for those veterans. Always will, and I'm just going to still instill that into our kids. Because when I started, not only at Adams Street, but at that facility, it meant a lot to me. So.
Any other questions? Yes.
Are there opportunities for parents to be involved, either individually or as a group?
Absolutely. What we like to do is, we do host like parent-child nights. We have family field trips. We want our families or the parents, whether, it's the mother raising the child or the father or the grandparent or guardian, and we do have a lot of foster kids as well. We like to get the families involved in their child's life on a daily basis. So yes, we encourage the parents or guardian to come in, participate in an activity. We host a family night to where our kids can bring in their parent and or guardian, or even, their neighbor, somebody that is important to them, and do activities throughout the day and meet other families and share stories about, what the club is doing for your child, and, what do you want us to focus on so we can help, develop, new criteria or new curriculum, to help families succeed. So, yes. Any other questions? Thank you all so very much. Out of the 5 locations, if you're off from Bay City, you're more than welcome to stop by. The oldest, I shouldn't say the oldest, it's the prettiest. It's right on the waterfront in the middle grounds, and the building sign still says Boys and Girls Clubs of Bay County. But we're open 5 days a week if you'd like a tour. We also have bingo in that facility, and that's in the evenings. And then we have a back meeting room that we invite other organizations to come in, host their meetings so they can hear more about Boys and Girls Club. So our doors are open to everybody. So please stop in. Thank you.
We have one more thing. I also want to thank some of the mentors I had when I was a member of the club, because they made an impact on myself and Ray, like the late CEO Tom Burt. He was like my major mentor. Everything I do now is because of what he had taught me. I had other mentors that were just regular staff, like Jimmy and Joy Velasquez, Kurt Collins, Pete White. These guys instilled a lot of that stuff into me that I'm passing along. So I really appreciate the fact that I went to the club, I got to be a club member, and I can tell you right now, that banner right there is going to be with me at all times, and when I'm long gone, I'm going to donate it back to the club. Thank you.